Hi YouTube, this is Tim. I've been on the SR thing for a year and 2 months now. I started in May 20th last year, and it's been quite a journey. I've learned to control my body, to control self-control has been the basic thing I've been learning in my journey. And when you get on the SR journey, you learn to control your body, and you learn to know your body better. And it's a God-inspired journey. God teaches you personally how to control your body and to control your mind. And I think it's a journey that everyone should try and start. I have learned to be quick to hear and slow to speak, and I've learned to control my tongue. And this is what the Bible tells you to do. I admire atheists because they rely on reason instead of relying on God. And reason is a good thing to rely on, because if you don't rely on reason, then you're just impulsive, and there's no difference between you and the animals. But if you rely on reason, then you learn to think like a god, and you focus on morals and doing the right thing. And I think that's something that atheists are doing right. But I think Christians are doing it even better. For the Christians who are truly Christians, not the hypocrites, because they believe that they are gods and they have God inside them. So God as Christ inside you teaches you how to reason and test everything. The Bible says test everything, discern what is good and abhor what is evil. So as Christians, we learn to reason in everything that we do, and we control everything, every aspect of our lives, even how we talk, how we think, and even how we dress. We reason about all these things, which I believe we do better than the atheists. If you are a true Christian and you learn how to do it, the more you mature in the faith. It starts off as being automatic, so reasoning like a god becomes automatic. And when you start on the journey, it's automatic because you believe Christ is in you and you surrender to Christ and you let God lead you. So you make thoughts that are godly, and that makes the effort of reasoning is not there. You don't have to think as hard. It's just automatic. It's impulsive, but it's also reasoning. So the reasoning is done for you. Then eventually you learn how to do it yourself as you grow in the faith. So you reason about everything, and you become more godly because you practice godliness. You reason every day, and you reason about everything, even how you speak, the things you think about. You control your body and your mind, and that's how it's been for me. I started automatically focusing on God and focusing on reasoning in my faith, and eventually I came across semen retention, and I learned how to control my body so I don't just waste my seed. It's been preserved. I struggled in the journey. I failed many times. My highest record was 6 weeks. Then I kept falling after every 4 weeks, and I just kept crying out to God. And eventually I started praying about it every day for about a year. I prayed about my strength to retain my seed for about a year, and after a year of praying, every day about retaining my seed, God answered my prayers, and He did it in a process. He taught me how to control my body, and it is a process. For some prayers have been answered instantly, but for me it was a process, and I prefer my process because mine was more complete. I feel more assured that I will stay in the retention journey until marriage, because I've learned how to control my body, and I asked God to help me understand the Mantak books, and I read them and reread them, and I believe that you shouldn't read those books if you're not a Christian, because you don't have anyone to help you. And those books, it's easy to go down the wrong path if you're reading those books and you're not a Christian, because you're just using that knowledge to satisfy your urges. You're being impulsive, you're not reasoning. So you're being impulsive and you're not reasoning, because you just want to satisfy your urges, your basic urges, which makes you think like an animal instead of thinking like a god, which you are. Because the Bible says you are gods, but you shall die like men. That's what separates us from the animals. So I believe it's important to read the Mantak books, but only if you are a Christian. If you have Christ helping you, He will help you to understand those books and apply that knowledge to the point where you will be able to master. It's beyond what the teaching says. It will be God teaching you, and with God as your instructor, you will learn to control your body even more than Mantak himself, and you will be able to retain at will. Right now I don't even know how to. I'm worried I don't know how to ejaculate because I haven't done it in so long, and I'm just focused so much on not ejaculating that I think when it comes to that time, I think I'll just relax and it will happen. But we'll cross that bridge when you come to it. Right now I'm all about retaining, and so I have peace of mind knowing that I don't have to worry about that anymore. I feel like a child again. I'm not sinning against my body. I have mental clarity. I have self-control. My sexuality has been returned to me. I feel like an adolescent again. It's I'm no longer just an adult who sexuality is waning. Yeah, I'm on my journey and I'm continuing to learn, and the benefits keep increasing. Every day is a lesson from God Himself. And I found out it's interesting that on Sundays, that's when the breakthrough comes. When I struggle with something during the week, I get a breakthrough on Sunday when I go to church. When it comes to struggling with how to control my body, because one of the situations that arise from practicing semen retention is that you get a spirit that comes to torment you. I call it the thorn in the flesh, like Paul talked about it in the Bible. The thorn in the flesh to keep you from being conceited. It's just sent to sanctify you and make you grow in controlling your body. So this spirit is with me and I have to fight it every day, and in my fight against it I learn how to control my body more. And as I control my body more, I'm less able to sin. I grow more control of my journey. Control increases, self-control increases day by day. You become more sure that you're not going to fall. So the Bible says the path of the righteous is like early morning that grows brighter and brighter until full day. So sanctification is a progress, it's progressive, and you can fall, but you reach a point where you get better than when you fall, you become better than you were before. So I believe it's possible to retain for up to like 8 years or 10 years without falling, because you fight this situation, you fight this sexual immorality, and you conquer it. The more you fall, the more you learn from it, until one day you can't fall anymore. And I believe I've reached the point where I can't fall anymore. So I'm just testing out this faith of mine. I'm watching as I continue. I feel like I've been assured by God that I won't fall again until marriage, when I want to have a baby. So I thank God for that. It's an answered prayer, and I continue to trust Him, and I continue to grow in self-control. So after reaching a year and 2 months, it's not easy to fall, because you're so used to retaining, and I still struggle with sexualized images and pornography which pops up on my phone every once in a while, but I know I can't indulge in these things to the point where I release, because I don't want to release, and the verse "flee sexual immorality" is in my mind all the time. So I am always fleeing sexual immorality. So if you're always fleeing sexual immorality, you can't release. Anyway, this is my first video after retaining for 1 year and 2 months, and that's what I wanted to share. Hopefully I'll do more videos and tell you about what I've learned on my journey. Stay blessed and keep trusting in God. It's better than just relying on reason, because God is the ultimate form of reason. The Bible says if your conscience should condemn you, God is greater than your conscience, for he knows all things. So you can't just rely on your conscience and reason. You have to rely on God, and God is the Bible. So test everything with the Bible and you will be fine. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Just try out God and see the difference between relying on reason and relying on God. And it has to be Christ. Without Christ, there is no other way. There is no other religion apart from Christ that can save you. And that is where the true God is, because he's the only God who seeks you out, while other religions you search for God, but in Christianity God searches for you, and he comes down on earth and he suffers with you, and he dies on the cross, and he resurrects, and he promises you the same thing, that you will overcome suffering and that you will resurrect and you will be his children. Anyway, be blessed and see you next time, hopefully, God willing.